watching the South Texas News Leader. This is 3 News at 6.
On 3 News tonight, the investigation continues into that fatal crash on the Harbor Bridge, where TxDOT stands in getting devices in place to alert wrong-way drivers.
Plus, a former San Antonio Spurs basketball player facing accusations. They're coming from a former team psychologist who says he must be held accountable.
And many Coastal Bend residents awoke this morning to an alert regarding a fire at the Valero East plant. Tonight, a look at how the reverse alert system works.
And right now, 78 degrees. We did make it into the 80s today. We're going to be even hotter, humid, and more windy tomorrow. I'll let you know more on storms and the nice weekend we have ahead, though, after that.
Hey, good evening, and thanks so much for joining us here. I'm Mike Gillespie.
And I'm Leslie Adamy. At the top for us tonight, we are learning more about that deadly wrong-way crash on the Harbor Bridge last night that claimed the lives of 2 San Patricio County residents, one of whom worked for the sheriff's office.
Yeah, the crash happened just before 7:30 last night as a wrong-way driver was headed northbound in the southbound lane of the Harbor Bridge. Betsy Mandujano, a 911 dispatcher for San Patricio County, was killed in the crash. Her friend, Matthew Banda, who was driving the car, was also killed.
Police say the driver heading the wrong way, a 35-year-old woman, is suspected of driving under the influence and was taken to the hospital. That woman still hospitalized, so as a patient, her name has not yet been released. But we have learned that when she gets out, she will be charged with 2 counts of intoxication manslaughter and 1 count of intoxication assault in the crash.
Now, San Patricio County Sheriff Oscar Rivera says he and his entire staff are in a state of shock over the tragedy involving one of their own.
Around 10:30 last night, I'm getting phone calls from one of my super investigators, and she came find Betsy. And when I go there, so we get the phone call. Call dispatch and said, "Can you confirm with Corpus to see if one of our dispatchers is involved?" Betsy Mandujano.
It's truly heartbreaking. Mandujano was a longtime dispatcher for San Patricio County. We're told that she would spend a lot of her free time helping out at all kinds of public events around the county involving the sheriff's department. The sheriff telling us he doesn't know how he'll be able to replace her, referring to her as their angel.
Well, last night's wrong-way crash, unfortunately, not the first for officers in San Patricio County. The Portland Police Department tonight telling us that they've responded to 6 similar crashes so far this year.
Yeah, that number, what law enforcement say is their average a year. And they say nearly 98% of the time, the cause of these crashes are drivers under the influence. Tonight, our Michael Gibson spoke with officers who respond to these types of crashes, who say they are going to extreme measures to put a stop to wrong-way drivers.
That wrong-way driver found out that if you don't stop for Portland police, they've been ordered to stop your vehicle dead in its tracks.
Drivers or officers make the decision to take decisive action to take this vehicle off the roadway at this point to avoid a head-on with oncoming. Even after this impact, you'll notice the suspect flees across the highway and our officers are in foot pursuit.
Portland Police Chief Mark Corey showed us one video after another from the past year and a half of his officers using their patrol cars to ram and take out wrong-way drivers who would not stop.
1.2, I just hit my unit.
We try to get our units down there as they come off the causeway, set up spike strips in an attempt to get the vehicle stopped there. If that doesn't work, I've given the order to all our officers to ram that vehicle off the roadway.
Chief Corey says his officers got word on Wednesday evening that another one of those wrong-way drivers was heading toward Portland. So, police from here headed toward the Harbor Bridge, but they were too late. That wrong-way driver had already killed 2 people. One of them being Betsy Mandujano, who was a dispatcher for the San Patricio County Sheriff's Department.
We got to do something. This is not going to work, and this is who's next.
This police chief says his officers stand ready to protect the innocent from those wrong-way drivers.
So when people ask me as the chief, you know, why do y'all ram these vehicles with your $70,000 patrol cars. And I pull this picture right there, and I said, that's why we ram vehicles, to prevent that from happening.
The chief says his officers handle about half a dozen of these wrong-way driving incidents each year. And he promises that any driver who keeps going will be stopped one way or another. That's because he believes by ramming those vehicles, his officers are saving lives by stopping the threat before another innocent person ends up dead. Michael Gibson, 3 News.
Thank you, Michael, and our condolences with the loved ones of the victims in this horrific crash. We have also learned tonight that the San Patricio County Sheriff's Office will be holding a candlelight vigil for Betsy Mandujano this weekend. That's going to happen Sunday at 6:30.
And just a reminder here that TxDOT is implementing a system to potentially keep wrong-way crashes from happening, but that device will take another 6 months before it's ready for use. The new technology is being installed in an effort to try to cut down on the number of those wrong-way driving fatalities. Now, the new tech will feature a camera and flashing lights, in addition to signs that will try to get the attention of the drivers. It will eventually be up and running along those spots around town that have seen the most wrong-way driving incidents.
And it was an incident that some residents have told us that it felt like their house shook early this morning. This after a fire broke out at the Valero East plant. The city of Corpus Christi sent out a reverse alert around 7:12 a.m. to let the public know the fire was being contained by emergency crews on site and that they did not need to evacuate.
Now, the reverse alert system is run by the local emergency planning committee and has about 28,000 people signed up in our area. Our Brandon Schaff spoke with someone who helps manage the system and joins us here in the studio now with more. So Brandon, how does all of that work?
Hey, good evening, Leslie and Mike. And city officials tell me tonight that the reverse alert system helped keep the public informed as the Valero fire was contained this morning. Program manager Joanne Salgi says that it took just about 5 minutes from when Valero notified them to send the alert. She says that when they get the information, 911 dispatch is notified first for emergency response. The crisis management team then takes over, notifying the public about what's going on and if they need to take action.
It's important that people have the assurance that there's nothing that they need to do, that it's being handled and taken care of. That air monitoring is being done and that, everyone is not in harm's way.
She says that once they get the information about the situation, LEPC will send more help to the scene if needed and to make sure that it's contained. The Reverse Alert program started back in 2012, and there are 2 ways to sign up. One way by visiting reversealert.org or by texting Be Ready CCNC to 888-777. Now, there is also an option to set up a quiet time, which is similar to Do Not Disturb on your phone. But Salgi says that if there's an emergency that affects you, it will override that feature so that you're still notified. She says that there are no plans for further alerts about the fire today. Leslie, Mike, back to you.
All right, Brandon, thanks for that report. And a former San Antonio Spurs performance psychologist and her attorney held a press conference today regarding the allegations that she and others have made against former Spurs guard Josh Primo. Dr. Hillary Cawthon says that she told the Spurs in January of Primo's conduct during a session in December of last year. And despite the team being aware, he stayed on. She alleges there was no investigation and this behavior only continued.
I have many things, but I'm not alone in the fight to do the right thing. The right thing is saying, no, this is not okay, to hold people accountable, to make systemic change, and to protect those that suffer in silence. The right thing is also saying, I'm sorry, I have failed you, and we need to do better.
The reasons for Josh Primo.
Attorney indicated the Bexar County's DA's office has been given the information and will look at the possibility of putting together a criminal case against Primo.
The Department of Justice announced a series of raids targeting a major catalytic converter theft ring. At least 21 people across several states were arrested for their roles in that operation. Now, the theft brought in over $500 million. The FBI says those indicted stole the converters in multiple states. They all then ended up at DG Auto Parts in New Jersey. The Bureau claims that the company knowingly purchased the stolen converters, extracted the precious metal inside, and then sold the materials for more than $545 million.
We've also identified tens of thousands of catalytic converters that have been taken on as well. It's a larger problem than we initially thought. It takes less than 30 seconds to really take these catalytic converters and make that profitability.
Of course, all non-electric cars are equipped with a catalytic converter, which helps convert pollutant gases into less harmful ones. Having one stolen can make a car inoperable or at least illegal to drive under EPA regulations. Repairs can also cost thousands of dollars, and with supply chain issues, that price has only skyrocketed in recent years. Well, turning now to the weather, I hear we have a good day to look forward to this weekend, and here in South Texas, you take victory where you can find it.
Keyword a day. Meteorologist Carly Smith in for Alan Holt tonight. Hey there, Carly.
Hey, Leslie, Mike. Yes, a day with temperatures not in the 80s looks to come Saturday. But right now we made our high today up to 82 degrees. That's our average high, not too much higher, lower than that, 80 degrees. Average low is 60. We're going to be much warmer than that as we look ahead to tonight. Temperatures right now sitting at 78 degrees in Corpus Christi, 80 in Robstown, 78 in Mathis. If you are headed out to an area football game tonight, we are going to see partly cloudy skies. Wind is going to remain breezy out of the south-southeast there, around 12 to 18 miles per hour. Temperatures falling, but it's staying in the 70s pretty much all night long. In fact, we're going to keep those temperatures on the mild and muggy side. 74 degrees your low. It will be breezy with gusts 20 to 25 miles per hour even overnight. Partly cloudy skies, some patchy fog may develop, but those windy conditions will likely limit the fog. Heading into tomorrow, 87 will be your high. That's right. Heat index values in the 90s. We'll be humid with isolated showers possible. Windy throughout the day tomorrow. Those gusts 35 miles per hour. So we do have a small craft advisory in place for our bays and our Gulf water. That's going to be through 7 p.m. on Friday. I want to point out those winds staying gusty not only overnight but into tomorrow. We're talking 30, possibly even a few 35 mile per hour gusts. This is onshore flow. That's what's going to make it so muggy and humid. That nice day, yeah, that's going to come behind a cold front, but we may see a few storms along that front. I'll talk about in just a few minutes. Leslie,
all right, thank you for that, Carly. When we come back, RSV continues to be a major concern this fall. Local cases already tripling the number we saw here last year.
So some things you can be doing to keep your little ones safe as this wave hits harder and way earlier than expected. Details right after this.
See something you gotta share? Connect with us and tell 3.
At Thomas J. Henry, our results speak for themselves. Thomas J. Henry, the name you know, the firm you trust.
Join NEC Co-op Energy and see why it's the power people love.
I'm Dan Patrick. As Lieutenant Governor, I prioritized increasing funding for public schools, mental health programs, and brought teacher pay to record levels. I banned teaching CRT, increased the homestead exemption to $40,000, and passed funding to build the wall. Next session, I'll increase the homestead exemption again, continue to strengthen our grid, and add a mandatory 10-year sentence for using a gun in a crime. I'm Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, and I asked for your vote.
Watch out. Radical extremist Rochelle Garza is trying to impose her dangerous far-left agenda on Texas. Garza compared our law enforcement officers to terrorists, calling our Border Patrol shameless and cowardly. What's worse, Garza worked as a lawyer for extremist groups, representing human traffickers who smuggle illegal immigrants. But it gets even crazier. Garza wants a completely open border. Let everyone in. Radical liberal Rochelle Garza is too dangerous for Texas. Defend Us PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Carolyn Vaughn is running false negative ads against Abel when she lives in a glass house. Carolyn Vaughn's company was sued and forced to admit her company stole a competitor's technology. Vaughn was sued 4 times by her employees for wage theft and firing a seriously ill employee.
But Abel Herrero stands up for all of us in lowering property taxes, reducing utility bills, eliminating windstorm rate hikes, and fully funding our local schools. Abel Herrero, he's earned our trust.
Join NEC Co-op Energy and see why it's the power people love.
Tomorrow morning.
Foster care, adoption, and post-adoption help. How you can keep these services running in South Texas. Discover our next nonprofit benefiting during the Day of Giving.
3 News First Edition. The 7-day weather forecast is sponsored by NEC Co-op Energy.
Welcome back. Congestive illnesses are on the rise here in the Coastal Bend, and one virus that is especially impacting young children is RSV.
Yeah, it is seeing a considerable spike this time of year as compared to last year's numbers. Our Simone Simpson spoke with Driscoll Children's Hospital about the severity of these cases right now. Simone?
Leslie, Mike, RSV cases at Driscoll Children's Hospital have more than tripled. Doctors say this year there are more than 300 cases compared to last year's 103 cases. Dr. Jaime Fergie with Driscoll says the problem occurs when children go to school and bring the virus home. For the child, they'll have mild symptoms, but for the baby, that's when things get scary.
It is happening earlier this year, and it is happening in a way that is very severe and very sudden.
Driscoll Hospital's infectious disease specialist, Dr. Jaime Fergie, says this virus normally strikes during the winter, but its early arrival is overwhelming.
For RSV, we do not have a vaccine. For RSV, we only have a medication to prevent it.
Dr. Fergie says that medicine is only given to a small number of babies who are born prematurely and have congenital heart disease or chronic lung disease.
4, 5, 6 years of age, it's just going to be a common cold. But for the baby, the possibility is there for the pneumonia and the bronchiolitis and the difficulty breathing.
With the uptick of congestive illnesses, symptoms are similar, like a runny nose and cough. Medical Director Dr. Conrad Cantu Jr. says RSV isn't tested in adults.
Symptoms that people will have get less as they are reinfected with RSV. So by the time you're an adult, you've probably had multiple infections.
The reality is most adults won't get sick with RSV, but the elderly population should be cautious.
If you're elderly, you have a history of respiratory problems, there's a chance that RSV can cause a viral pneumonia or cause a more severe respiratory issue that requires hospitalization.
Medical professionals are seeing an uptick of flu cases as well. It's best to protect yourself and your children when it comes to viruses that are common this time of year.
All right, Simone, thank you for that report. Well, dozens of area students competed in the 2022 Special Olympics Texas bowling competition over at Bolero earlier today. The event allowed students to have fun while also going head-to-head against students from several Coastal Bend area school districts in search of a strike. And for those involved, it was just a great feeling to see those competing with smiles on their faces after a 2-year layoff.
It's about having a sense of belonging, and also through a sense of belonging is teamwork, and that's what our kids feed off of. So when you see them smiling here today, they're going to have a great time. They know they're with their friends, they know they're with loved ones or teachers. Everybody's here for the same reason, that's to support our kids.
Dr. Jose Moreno adds that additional sports are on the way, including basketball as well as track and field, with some friendly competition going on out there. You could just tell everyone having such a great time. Gotta love events like this.
And he mentioned the support, and they had a lot of folks out there supporting them with that today. So good on you.
Always a great turnout.
Yeah, and it was indoors.
Yeah.
Which was probably
escape the mugginess of today a little bit.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's only going to be worse. Hot, humid, and windy.
Everything you love about fall.
You have been warned, y'all.
That's right, yeah. Yeah. Fall. Saturday we get a day of fall. Okay, but first we have to get through tonight and Friday nights before we get there. So what we are looking at are some strong winds. Those winds already are gusting around 28 miles per hour in Corpus Christi, 30 miles per hour in Kingsville, 29 miles per hour out of the southeast. That's what's bringing up all of that moisture, making it feel muggy. Tomorrow, if it's your trash day, I think Flower Bluff may be one of those areas. Winds are going to be out of the south-southeast 15 to 25 miles per hour, gusts 35 miles per hour. some gusts could be even stronger than that. So if you get one of those stronger gusts, your trash can may be knocked over, lids likely flipped open. So just be prepared for that. It's going to be hot and windy tomorrow. We're talking heat index values in the 90s. Yeah, the taste of summer on November 4th. High around 87 degrees. Windy conditions is what you're really going to notice. Those winds out of the south-southeast there. Up to 20, 25 miles per hour. That's your sustained wind. But then look what happens overnight. Yeah, we're tracking a chance of thunderstorms, likely closer to midnight here in Corpus Christi. But what's going to happen before we get those storms? The reason it's so windy is because we've got really cold air coming across the Rockies into the Four Corners region and across the desert. But that is going to try to mix with our hot, humid, gross air that's coming up out of the Gulf of Mexico right now. Ahead of that, we develop what is known as the low-level jet. You can see winds in about 5,000 feet up are sustained at 43 miles per hour. So those really strong winds can easily mix down to the surface, and that's why we have those stronger wind gusts, creating those windy conditions in between that cold and hot air mass, and it's really enhanced when we get a cold front coming through. That cold front is also going to create that risk of severe storms. That low-level jet adds to helicity, which enhances the risk of tornadoes. Now we're going to see that mostly across East Texas, kind of from Austin to Dallas and into the Texas border. For us here in Corpus Christi, we do have a risk of severe weather, but our higher storm energy and spin potential is not going to come along with the front. So the timing isn't exactly going to be there where we have shear instability, moisture, and lift all at the same time. We're going to kind of have all the ingredients, but we're going to miss the lift until later in the night. And so I want to time it out for you guys. A chance for a few spotty showers, even some patchy fog overnight tonight, but we're going to be tracking those really hot conditions on your Friday. That cold front moving through, that's when we see our chance of storms. That will be clearing out pretty quickly as we head into your Saturday morning. And Saturday is looking much, much cooler and drier behind that cold front. You'll see the winds lighter on Saturday as well, out of the northeast, 5 to 15 miles per hour. So in your 7-day forecast, it's really that Saturday, even Sunday, not too bad, low 80s. Don't forget about the time change there on Sunday as well, but stormy weather Friday night heading into Saturday morning, and then pleasant conditions all day long on Saturday.
All right, thank you for that, Carly. Stick around. Sports coming up next.
This truck is fully loaded and weighs 80,000 pounds. It has a big engine, big tires, everything about it is big. I'm Attorney Billy Edwards. If you are hit by one of these, your injuries will be big or even worse.
Big rig wrecks are almost always disastrous. I'm Attorney Bill Edwards. 18-wheeler wrecks require serious investigation. Call the Edwards Law Firm if you're involved in a trucking accident. We know the law.
38 years ago, his back was broken, but his spirit was not. Greg Abbott never gave up. It's that same determination that drives Greg Abbott to keep Texas strong, expanding opportunities so the Texas economy remains #1 in America for job creation, ensuring our police are fully funded to protect our safety, and securing the border to prevent deadly drugs and gangs from entering our country. Greg Abbott, securing the future of Texas.
Barbara Canella says,
you deserve the facts.
And we couldn't agree more. She raised our property taxes 4 years in a row.
But you deserve the facts.
She managed the pandemic so poorly, the public health district was taken out of her hands. She gave a major campaign donor a county contract that paid $8 million.
But you deserve the facts.
Her common law husband made almost $2 million from the ports since she's been in office.
But you deserve.
We deserve better. Elect Connie Scott, a competent, ethical leader for county judge.
Black Friday, the biggest savings event of the year, and you can beat the crowds and beat Black Friday at Lax Furniture. Get early access to hot buys store-wide, like this 2-piece living room or this 4-piece queen bedroom, your choice, only $9.95. And this Restonic Gracie mattress starting at just $4.99. Plus, get an extra 10% off for cash or easy financing with up to 36 months, no interest, and free delivery. Beat the crowds at the Beat Black Friday sale, only at Lax Furniture.
Responsible Texans want responsible judges who follow the law. We pay our taxes. Judicial candidate Aaron Pena doesn't. He owes the IRS over $44,000. We buy car insurance. Aaron Pena's gotten 3 tickets for driving with no insurance, even while running for judge. And as a lawyer, Aaron Pena was reprimanded for professional misconduct and suspended from practicing law 6 times. If you want a responsible judge who follows the law, that's not Aaron Pena.
Hey, good evening, everybody. The Astros made history last night with the first combined no-hitter in a World Series game, and just the second ever after Don Larson last did it for the Yankees a few years ago, back in 1956. Christian Javier struck out 9 in the game of his life, and the game the Astros arguably had to have to avoid going down 3-1. Now, the bullpen finished it off from there. Brian Abreu, Rafael Montero, and Ryan Presley all getting the job done in the 5-0 win. Christian Vasquez caught the game behind the dish and joins Yogi Berra as the only catchers to call a World Series no-hitter. Afterwards, the trade deadline acquisition said one of the best moments of his career.
We have not finished the job here. I think it's a special moment. Obviously, it's a no-hitter. You know, it's 2 catchers in history to make call a no-hitter. So yeah, it's a very special day for us, and you know, we're happy to get that dolly for everybody.
But like he said, the job's not done. Tied 2-2, and it's now a best 2 out of 3 series. Justin Verlander taking the mound tonight, looking to bounce back after losing a 5-run lead in Game 1. Framber Valdez will have Game 6 back in Houston on Saturday. The high school football playoffs kick off 1 week from tonight. That means some key ball games in Week 11, including tonight. Here's the list of highlight games we will have on tap for you. All of these home teams are trying to secure outright district championships. Veterans Memorial taking on King with the Eagles already locked into the 1 seed. Taft welcoming in George West. The Greyhounds looking for their first outright district title in 36 years. And Refugio facing Ganado in a 3rd-round rematch from last year, a game Refugio won big 54-7. All of those are 7 o'clock kickoffs. And we'll have an update on Ben Bolt and Rivetta as well. That one has playoff implications. And a quick live look-in up in Woodsboro. Volleyball playoffs tipping off the 2nd round tonight. The Tolosa Midway Cherokees are up there, set to take on Port Lavaca here in a few minutes at 6:30. The Cherokees, one of 10 local teams in action tonight. We'll have highlights of this one for you coming up at 10. Leslie, Mike, back over to you.
All right, Chris, thanks so much. After the break, a quick look at what's in the works for 3 News at 10 tonight.
3 News invites you to be part of an online donation hotline for over 50 area organizations. The Coastal Bend Day of Giving, Tuesday, November 8th. Closed captioning of 3 News is brought to you by KIII TV and sponsored by Herman & Herman, always putting you first.
I fought for veterans exposed to toxins during their service. As land commissioner, I'll make sure that Texas veterans get the care and benefits they deserve. And Dawn Buckingham, well, her record speaks for itself. She profited off a university that charged veterans sky-high tuition.
We need someone we can trust as land commissioner.
And you've always been there for us, Jay. Y'all deserve better care, and I'll never play games with our veterans' lives.
We've all got places to be, and we all need a way to get there. Whether you're in the market for something new or just getting from point A to point B, shouldn't getting an auto loan be within reach? At Navy Army, we say yes. With friendly experts and on-the-spot financing at over 100 partner dealerships, we make the loan process easier than ever, making us the #1 auto lender in South Texas. Because no matter where you're going, there's a place for you here. Navy Army Community Credit Union. Banking for all.
It's the Rooms to Go holiday sale, and we're celebrating in style. Choose your perfect look, like this 5-piece living room, just $14.55 or $25 a month, interest-free. Save on beautiful rooms like this, just $18.95 or $32 a month. Shop our incredible selection room by room, and bring home dining sets like this or this with fast delivery. At Rooms to Go, you get both. Great sale prices and 60-month interest-free financing. Now during the Rooms to Go holiday sale.
The Corpus Christi City Council has given away more than $95 million in tax breaks to wealthy corporations, while our taxes go up every year. And basic services like road repair are underfunded. Now they want to spend $500 million on Baywater desalination to benefit big corporations, sending our water bills through the roof. It's time for a change at City Hall. Cast your vote for the clean slate. Jim Klein, Nancy Vera, Sylvia Campos, and Armand Alex to put Corpus Christi's working families first.
Finding real solutions to real problems is not a partisan issue. I'm State Representative candidate Carolyn Vaughn. For all those folks who never thought they'd vote for a Republican, I say come on over. This is our chance to change things for the better. Let's not waste it.
Well, looking ahead to 3 News at 10 on this Thursday, it was video of a commercial cement truck losing its tires and rolling along SPID yesterday. It's now serving as an eye-opening reminder of how important maintaining a vehicle can be. A look at what the city does to keep their own fleet safe out on the roadways.
But before we let you go, a quick final check of your weather.
Yeah, we are going to see temperatures staying in the 70s tonight. Breezy conditions all night, 20 to 25 mile per hour gusts, low around 74.
All right, Carly, thanks. That is our report for now.
Hey, for all of us here, thanks for watching. See you at 10.